Okay, we're going to practice graphing a set of data with Google Sheets. So first thing we want to do is select the data that we want to graph. So I'm going to highlight it here by clicking and dragging. Then I'm going to go to Insert, Chart, and it will pop up a generic chart. So we're going to make some changes to this so that it fits our purposes a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is change the chart type. So normally we're always going to be graphing a scatter plot, but there's other choices. Normally we make scatter plots in science. Okay, we can change our axis labels. So we want to make sure our first column here, which should be our x-axis values, atomic number is written at the bottom, so we could change that if we would like. And then we want to make sure our y-axis, the second column, is being graphed on our y-axis, so which it is, atomic mass. So now let's make some changes to some of the information shown on our screen. So we're going to go to Customize to do that. So again, we can use this to change our chart style. We can change the background, we can change the font and stuff like that. The next little menu is where we change our labels. So right now we have our vertical axis, and we can change that. Let's go to chart title first. So we want to make sure it's graphing and has some kind of title. So normally a title, simple title, is to take your y variable versus your x variable, and it does that automatically for you. But in case you would like to change that, you can change that under chart title. So atomic mass, our y variable versus our x variable atomic number. So you can change the chart font, you can change the size, you can change the color. Okay, so now let's look at our vertical axis, so our x-axis. So right now it's graphing the atomic number, which is correct. So normally we always want a title, what it is, and then the unit it's measuring. So atomic number doesn't have a unit, so we don't have a unit in this one. But let's say it was maybe meters, so in parentheses we would write the unit it's being measured in. Okay, so always have the name with the unit. This one doesn't have a unit. And again, you can change the font, the size, the color, and stuff like that. Then we want to look at our vertical axis, and here's where we would change the information about that. So your second column is normally always going to be your vertical axis or your y-axis. And it's graphing atomic mass. Again, we want the name of what it's graphing and a unit. Atomic mass does not have a unit, so we're going to leave it blank. But again, if it did have a unit, put it in parentheses. So we have chart font you can change, size, and color. So everything looks good with our labels. So we always want a title and labels on our axes. Now something else we may want to change is a legend. So if we only have one set of points on our graph, a lot of times it's not necessary to have a legend. So under here is where you can turn it off. So instead of the position being right, we can select none. Okay. Then we can change some information about our horizontal axis if we go to the next menu. So we can determine how our scale will look. So here we can set a minimum value and a maximum value. Right now it's auto scaling for us. So it starts at 20, goes up to 30. So maybe we would want it to go a little less than 20 so that that point is on there a little more clear. But it looks pretty good for me right now. So here's where you could set that. So maybe I would say 15, 35. So I get above and below. It will adjust that for me. But I'll let it auto scale right now. You can also change the look of it, so you can change the size and stuff like that. You can also adjust your vertical axis. You can set a minimum and a maximum as well for that. Right now it's just defaulting and it's going to auto scale it for me. And then the last kind of menu is your grid lines. So you can change how many grid lines you see. So sometimes it's easier to read a graph if there are more grid lines. So right now it's doing auto. So maybe I want it to show 5. Maybe minor ones show 5. So it's easier to find that point on the scale. But auto default usually does a pretty good job. And when you're all done, you just close the menu out and you have your chart. Now, if you want to go back and edit anything on your chart, you want to click the chart, go to the 3 lines at the top, and you can get that menu back up again. So maybe you forgot to add something in. These 3 lines will also be where you can copy this chart. So a lot of times you have to copy this into your lab report. So you click those 3 dots and you can copy the chart and paste it in your lab report.